Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Naresh Mago and with me is Gaurav Sharma with the evening news. The headlines. Russian President Vladimir Putin to arrive in New Delhi tomorrow for 21st India-Russia Annual Summit with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Home Minister Amit Shah assures best techniques to Border Security Force to protect territorial borders of the country. 9 new cases of Omicron reported from Rajasthan, 7 from Maharashtra. Half of India's adult population fully vaccinated against COVID-19, says Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia. Himachal Pradesh becomes first state in the country to achieve 100% vaccination of its eligible adult population. President Ramnath Kovind to be on a 4-day visit to Maharashtra from tomorrow. More than 3 crore income tax returns filed on new e-filing portal of Income Tax Department so far. 11th edition of exercise Equivariant between India and Maldives to be conducted at Kadhu Island from tomorrow. In cricket, India 5 wickets away from victory against New Zealand on day 3 of second and final test in Mumbai. Indian team registers 13-0 win over Thailand in Women's Hockey Asian Champions Trophy 2021 in South Korea. As India marches towards administering 150 crore vaccine doses against COVID-19, news about the new corona variant is a cause for concern. In this situation, we appeal to our listeners to get fully vaccinated at the earliest and help others get vaccinated. Please continue to follow these 3 simple steps to stay safe. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, and focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011 2397 8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Russian President Vladimir Putin will arrive in Delhi tomorrow on an official visit to India for the 21st India-Russia Annual Summit with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The leaders will review the state and prospects of bilateral relations and discuss ways to further strengthen the strategic partnership between the two countries. The summit will be an opportunity to exchange views on regional, multilateral and international issues of mutual interest. Both leaders will also hold one-on-one talks. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov will arrive in India later tonight. He will hold a meeting with External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar tomorrow morning ahead of the first India-Russia 2+2 ministerial dialogue. Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh and Dr. Jaishankar will represent the Indian side in the dialogue, and the Russian side will be represented by Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu. The annual summit meeting between India and Russia is the highest institutionalized dialogue mechanism in the strategic partnership between India and Russia. Our correspondent reports that so far 20 annual summit meetings have taken place alternately in India and Russia.
Russia has been a long-standing and time-tested partner for India. India has wide-ranging cooperation with Russia in the field of defense and security. Military technical cooperation between the two nations has evolved from a buyer-seller framework to one involving joint research, development and production of advanced defense technologies and systems. BrahMos missile system, as well as the licensed production in India of Su-30 aircraft and T-90 tanks are examples of such flagship cooperation. Ahead of the India-Russia Annual Summit, Centre cleared a plan for the joint production of over 5 lakh AK-203 assault rifles with Russia. Russia is an important partner for India in the area of peaceful use of nuclear energy. Kudankulam nuclear power plant is being built in India with Russian cooperation. Suparna Saikia, AIR News, Delhi.
Union Home Minister Amit Shah has said India is developing anti-drone technology and assured that the best techniques available so far will be provided to Border Security Force, BSF, to protect the territorial borders of the country. Speaking at the 57th Foundation Day ceremony of BSF, organized at Shahid Poonam Singh Stadium, Jaisalmer, Rajasthan today, Mr. Shah said the development is possible only with safe borders of the country. He assured that the government is taking all possible steps to counter the danger of drones. He said an anti-drone system will be developed soon in the country.
हमने कई प्रकार की नई तकनीकों को अपनाया है। विश्व में उपलब्ध सर्वोच्च तकनीक आपकी और सीमा की सुरक्षा के लिए सीमा सुरक्षा बल को उपलब्ध कराई जाएगी। ये सरकार का कमिटमेंट है। ड्रोन के खतरे को निपटने के लिए, ड्रोन प्रतिरोध प्रणालियां बनाने के लिए सीमा सुरक्षा बल, हमारा एनएसजी और डीआरडीओ तीनों मिलकर प्रयास कर रहे हैं। कुछ ही समय के अंदर हम स्वदेशी ड्रोन को कंट्रोल करने वाली प्रतिरोध प्रणाली बनाने में सफल होंगे और इसका भी हम तुरंत ही निपटारा करेंगे।
The Home Minister said the BSF is the largest security force which protects more than 6,000 kilometers long borders. Mr. Shah added that the country has witnessed the humanitarian side of BSF and police during the COVID-19 pandemic. The minister said that during the tough time of COVID, Central Armed Police Force CAPF not only planted 2.5 crore plants but also assured well-being of those plants. The Home Minister praised the enthusiasm and bravery of the Jawans. Earlier in the day, the Home Minister paid homage to Poonam Singh and other martyrs. On the occasion, he inspected the parade and took the salute of the March Past. During the program, the Union Home Minister honored the wives of the martyrs and other Jawans for their best services and dutifulness by giving medals. On this occasion, Director General of BSF, Pankaj Kumar Singh, said the Jawans of the country will always make the anti-national activities ineffective. Later, addressing Jan Pratinidhi Sankalp Sammelan, a meeting of public representatives of the BJP in Jaipur today, Mr. Shah said, central government is continuously working for the welfare of the people. Mr. Shah said the NDA government led by Narendra Modi has initiated various public welfare schemes. The Home Minister said the centre has provided free ration during COVID pandemic.
कोरोना के बाद काफी लोगों के रोजगार प्रभावित हुए, लंबे समय तक लॉकडाउन रहा, तत्काल काफी सारी दुकानें, सारी फैक्ट्रियां बंद रही, तो गरीब को रोज क्या खाना वो दिक्कत थी। 80 करोड़ गरीबों को देश में मोदी जी ने हर महीना 2 साल तक 5 किलो अनाज देने का काम कर गरीब के घर के चूल्हे को जलते रखने का काम किया है।
The Home Minister also mentioned Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, construction of toilets for poor families, and PM Kisan Samman Nidhi. Addressing the issue of rise in fuel prices, he said that the central government and BJP-led state governments have reduced VAT on petrol and diesel, but Rajasthan government has not reduced it much. He alleged that the Congress implemented the Garib Hatao slogan instead of Garibi Hatao Andolan. He said Congress had promised to pay unemployment allowance to the unemployed youth in the state, but failed to provide it.
9 new cases of the Omicron variant of COVID-19 were reported from Rajasthan, 7 cases from Maharashtra, and 1 case from Delhi today. With this, 21 cases of Omicron have been reported in India so far. The Rajasthan Health Department said that 9 members from a family in Jaipur tested positive for Omicron today after returning from South Africa. In Maharashtra, 8 persons have been found to be infected with the Omicron variant so far. As many as 6 persons have tested positive for the Omicron variant of COVID-19 in Pimpri Chinchwad in Pune district. According to the State Health Department, a 44-year-old woman and 2 girls who accompanied her from Nigeria have tested positive for the Omicron variant. Over 50% of the eligible population of the country is now fully vaccinated. Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia in a tweet called it a moment of great pride and said the nation will win the battle against COVID-19 together. More than 127 crore 61 lakh doses of COVID vaccine have been administered in the country so far. The Health Ministry said more than 1 crore 4 lakh doses were administered in the last 24 hours under the nationwide vaccination drive. The Union Government has said that more than 138 crore 95 lakh COVID vaccine doses have been provided to the states and the Union Territories so far. The Health Ministry today said that more than 21 crore 13 lakh balance and unutilized vaccine doses are still available with the states and the Union Territories to be administered. The BJP National President Jagat Prakash Nadda has said that the aims at Bilaspur in Himachal Pradesh would be made fully functional within the next 6 months. He said people of Himachal Pradesh as well as the entire region would get highly specialized facilities within the state. Mr. Nadda was addressing the felicitation ceremony of COVID vaccination workers at Bilaspur today on the historic occasion of achieving 100% vaccination of targeted eligible population of the state. The BJP president said that the setting up of AIIMS outside Delhi was a vision of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, as the first AIIMS was established in Delhi way back in 1960. He addressed that as many as 22 AIIMS were coming up in the entire country, and all this was made possible by the Prime Minister. Mr. Nadda appreciated the leadership of Chief Minister Jairam Thakur, saying that he has been working with dedication to ensure that Himachal Pradesh emerges as a role model for the other states of the country. Earlier, Mr. Nadda, along with the Union Minister of Health, Chemicals and Fertilizers, Mansukh Mandavia, Chief Minister Jairam Thakur, and the Union Minister of Information and Broadcasting, Youth Affairs and Sports, Anurag Singh Thakur, also dedicated the OPD at AIIMS Kothipura in Bilaspur. During his address, Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia said that the AIIMS was indeed the biggest gift of the Union government to Himachal Pradesh. He said that the world has acknowledged the brain power of the country.
ये देश में ब्रेन पावर और मैन पावर की कभी कमी नहीं। आप दुनिया के कोई भी कोने में चले जाओ, आप नासा में चले जाओ, और नासा में 10 में से 3 साइंटिस्ट इंडियन हैं। दुनिया की कोई भी रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट में चले जाओ, ये रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट में 10 में से 3 रिसर्च फेलो, तो हिंदुस्तान की ताकत है। लेकिन ये ताकत को पहचानने की आवश्यकता थी। मोदी जी ने केवल ये काम किया, देश में रही शक्तियों को पहचाना और उसके पर भरोसा किया।
Addressing the event, Chief Minister Thakur assured the people of the state that they would get the facility of super speciality treatment for all kinds of diseases at AIIMS in Bilaspur. He said it would benefit lakhs of people of the state along with the neighbouring states. Mr. Thakur said the state is also fully prepared for tackling any possible third wave of corona, for which the capacity of beds in hospitals of the state has been increased from 3,804 to 8,765, and it would be further increased to 11,000. The Union Minister of Information and Broadcasting, Youth Affairs and Sports, Anurag Singh Thakur, said due to the timely and appropriate decisions by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the country successfully handled the pandemic. He said India has today emerged as a role model for other countries of the world during the testing times of the pandemic. The minister added that at the time of the COVID outbreak, not even a single PPE kit was prepared in the country. And today, the country has not only been manufacturing over 15 lakh PPE kits per day, but even exporting it to several other countries. He said that indigenous vaccine program was prepared and the biggest vaccination campaign of the world is being carried out in the country. He also congratulated the state for ensuring 0% wastage of the vaccine.
जब हम लोग डिजिटल इंडिया की बात करते थे, मोदी जी कहते थे डिजिटल इंडिया, तो कांग्रेस के लोग हंसते थे, क्या है का डिजिटल इंडिया। लेकिन आज मैं कहना चाहता हूं, अगर लॉकडाउन के समय में बच्चों को पढ़ने का अवसर मिला, हमको एक दूसरे से बात करने का अवसर मिला, तो ये जो गांव-गांव में ऑप्टिकल फाइबर और टावर लगाकर आपको डेटा देकर मोबाइल की सुविधा से लेकर बाकी सब करने का काम किया, तो ये नरेंद्र मोदी जी की सरकार के समय होने का काम है।
Rajya Sabha has transacted private members' business full-time after 22 months. The upper house, however, lost 52.3% of the scheduled sitting time during the first week of the ongoing winter session due to disruptions and forced adjournments. The productivity of the House during the last week has been 47.7% of the scheduled time. However, with the House sitting for 33 minutes beyond the scheduled time last Thursday, the overall productivity for the first week against the scheduled time has improved to 49.7%. The best productivity of 100% was reported on Friday and 95% on the previous day of the last week, showing signs of return of the House to normal functioning. Rajya Sabha took up the private members' business for full scheduled time of 2.5 hours on Friday, doing so after 1 year, 9 months and 24 days and after 66 sittings. The last time it happened was on 7th February 2020 during the budget session, the 251st session of the House. Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu held discussions with some opposition leaders and ministers and urged both sides to further discuss their stated views on the suspension of 12 members of the House in the wake of the demand of opposition for its revocation. The centennial celebrations of the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament concluded in New Delhi today. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla, Deputy Chairperson Rajya Sabha Harivansh, and Chairperson Public Accounts Committee of Parliament of India Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, several union ministers, members of Parliament, presiding officers of state legislative bodies, chairpersons of Public Accounts Committees of States, and several other dignitaries attended the valedictory session. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla, in his valedictory address, said it is the responsibility of the PAC to evolve itself and to be flexible in their processes and procedures. Mr. Birla said, as part of our endeavour to ensure that the committee works for the benefit and welfare of the last person standing in the row, it should make the executive accountable for the development of the country and ensure transparency in the working of the government. Hailing the tradition of non-partisan functioning of PACs, Mr. Birla said, it should be our collective endeavour to not only maintain this tradition but to further strengthen it. He added, the interest of the nation should be supreme.
You're listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Russian President Vladimir Putin to arrive in New Delhi tomorrow for the 21st India-Russia Annual Summit with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Home Minister Amit Shah assures best techniques to border security force to protect territorial borders of the country. 9 new cases of Omicron reported from Rajasthan, 7 from Maharashtra. Half of India's adult population fully vaccinated against COVID-19, says Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia. Himachal Pradesh becomes the first state in the country to achieve 100% vaccination of its eligible adult population. President Ram Nath Kovind to be on a 4-day visit to Maharashtra from tomorrow. More than 3 crore income tax returns filed on the new e-filing portal of the Income Tax Department so far. The 11th edition of the exercise Equverin between India and Maldives to be conducted at Kadhu Island from tomorrow. In cricket, India 5 wickets away from victory against New Zealand on day 3 of the second and final test in Mumbai. And the Indian team registers a 13-0 win over Thailand in the Women's Hockey Asian Champions Trophy 2021 in South Korea. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
आजादी के आंदोलन के खजाने में ऐसे ढेरों शब्द जिन्होंने बदल दिए इतिहास. तारीख बदलने वाले लफ्जों पर आकाशवाणी समाचार ला रहा है विशेष कार्यक्रम धरोहर हर सोमवार.
President Ram Nath Kovind will be on a 4-day visit to Maharashtra from tomorrow. Mr. Kovind will visit Raigarh Fort tomorrow and pay tribute to Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. On Tuesday, the President will visit Air Force Station Lohegaon, Pune, where he will witness flying display and interact with air warriors. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate 2 key projects, the newly constructed AIIMS and a fertilizer plant at Gorakhpur in Uttar Pradesh on Tuesday. In a media briefing today, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath in Gorakhpur said that 7th December is an important day for the development of eastern Uttar Pradesh. The Chief Minister said the previous governments were responsible for the backwardness of eastern Uttar Pradesh. He said the fertilizer plant was closed in 1990 and after that, no government in the state paid any heed to it for the next 26 years. The Chief Minister said the fertilizer plant will prove instrumental in generating employment opportunities in the region apart from producing fertilizers for the benefit of the farmers.
The Finance Ministry has said that more than 3 crore income tax returns have been filed on the new e-filing portal of the Income Tax Department. The number of ITRs filed per day is over 4 lakh and increasing every day. The Income Tax Department has urged all the taxpayers to view their Form 26AS and the Annual Information Statement through the e-filing portal to verify the accuracy of the TDS and tax payments and avail pre-filing of ITRs. The department has requested all the taxpayers who are yet to file their income tax returns for 2021-22 to file their returns at the earliest to avoid last-minute rush.
The 11th edition of exercise Ecovariant between India and the Maldives will be conducted at Kadhu Island, Maldives from tomorrow. It will conclude on the 19th of this month. The exercise will enhance synergy and interoperability between armed forces of both the nations in terms of understanding transnational terrorism, both on land and at sea, conducting counter-terrorism and counter-insurgency operations, and sharing the best military practices and experiences. To commemorate the occasion of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav as a Jan Utsav, All India Radio News brings its listeners a special quiz on India's freedom movement and its glorious history. The quiz is being conducted every Monday and Tuesday in Morning News. The next question of Amrit Mahotsav quiz will be shared with the listeners tomorrow. And now, let's listen to our special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव।
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of this struggle every day.
अंधकार से कंपित धरनी झलक उठी कौन आया.
In today's episode, we pay homage to the philosopher, poet and Indian nationalist Sri Aurobindo Ghosh, who left us on 5th December 1950. Ghosh was perhaps the first Indian political leader to openly put forward in his newspaper Bande Mataram the idea of Purna Swaraj for the country. Later, he became a spiritual reformer, introducing his visions on human progress and spiritual evolution.
ध्यान धनक से तू बांधा लोक मिलाया.
Ghosh was born on August 15, 1872 in Calcutta and went to King's College in England to study for the Indian Civil Service. It was in Europe that he first felt the call of nationalism after getting acquainted with Italian and Irish nationalists. He also participated in an Indian students' organization called the Cambridge Majlis.
After returning to India, he took up various civil service works under the Maharaja of the princely state of Baroda. Aurobindo became increasingly involved in nationalist politics in the Indian National Congress and the revolutionary movement in Bengal with the Anushilan Samiti. He was arrested and faced charges of treason for Alipur conspiracy. However, he was never convicted. Famous freedom fighter Chittaranjan Das defended Aurobindo Ghosh in the Alipur bomb trial of 1909 with these words.
Long after this controversy is hushed in silence, long after this turmoil, this agitation ceases, long after he's dead and gone, he'll be looked upon as the poet of patriotism, as the prophet of nationalism, and the lover of humanity. Long after he's dead and gone, his words will be echoed and re-echoed, not only in India, but across distant seas and lands.
During his stay in jail, Aurobindo had mystical and spiritual experiences. It was in his speech at Uttarpada that Sri Aurobindo, for the first time, spoke publicly of his yoga and his spiritual experiences.
Aurobindo moved to Pondicherry, leaving politics for spiritual work, and devoted the rest of his life to the development of his integral yoga.
युक्त हुई या दैन्य घटाएं
15th of August 1947, Sri Aurobindo strongly opposed the partition of India, stating that he hoped the nation will not accept the settled fact as forever settled. He was nominated twice for the Nobel Prize in 1943 for the Nobel Award in Literature and in 1950 for the Nobel Award in Peace. Sri Aurobindo died on 5th December 1950. Over 60,000 people attended to see his body resting peacefully. We salute this great guru, philosopher and nationalist.
பூங்குயில் கூவும் பூஞ்சோலையில் ஒரு நாள் பூங்குயில் கூவும் பூஞ்சோலையில் ஒரு
We also commemorate today writer, journalist and Indian independence activist Ramaswamy Krishnamurthy, who died on the 5th of December 1954. Popularly known as Kalki Krishnamurthy, he participated in the non-cooperation movement.
Kalki was born on 9th September 1899 in Puttamangalam, Tamil Nadu. He had his primary education in his village school and later attended Municipal High School in Mayavaram. However, he quit school in 1921 in response to Mahatma Gandhi's call for non-cooperation.
Later, Kalki emerged as one of the foremost Tamil writers. He established Tamil weekly Kalki magazine in 1941. He wrote the historical novel Ponniyin Selvan based on the Chola dynasty and two other novels on Pallava dynasty. His writings include over 120 short stories, 10 novellas, 5 novels, 3 historical romances, editorial and political writings, and hundreds of film and music reviews. He died in Chennai on the 5th of December 1954 at the age of 55. We salute this great Indian patriot.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
Best wishes to all consumers for Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Hallmark ensures purity of gold. Always purchase hallmarked gold jewelry. For any consumer-related complaints, please contact National Consumer Helpline's toll-free number 14404. Issued in public interest by Department of Consumer Affairs, Government of India. Jago Grahak Jago.
In hockey, drag sticker Gurjeet Kaur scored 5 goals as the Indian team registered an emphatic 13-0 win over Thailand in their first game in the Women's Asian Champions Trophy 2021 at the Tonghai, South Korea. India will play the hosts Korea on the 8th of this month. In cricket, India are in a commanding position against New Zealand on day 3 of the second and final test in Mumbai. The hosts are only 5 wickets away from a victory. Chasing a victory target of 540 runs set by India, New Zealand lost half of their wickets, scoring only 140 runs.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Russian President Vladimir Putin to arrive in New Delhi tomorrow for 21st India-Russia Annual Summit with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Home Minister Amit Shah assures best techniques to border security force to protect territorial borders of the country. 9 new cases of Omicron reported from Rajasthan, 7 from Maharashtra. Half of India's adult population fully vaccinated against COVID-19, says Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia. Himachal Pradesh becomes first state in the country to achieve 100% vaccination of its eligible adult population. President Ramnath Kovind to be on a 4-day visit to Maharashtra from tomorrow. More than 3 crore income tax returns filed on new e-filing portal of Income Tax Department so far. 11th edition of exercise equivalent between India and Maldives to be conducted at Kadhu Island from tomorrow. In cricket, India 5 wickets away from victory against New Zealand on day 3 of second and final test in Mumbai, and Indian team registers 13-0 win over Thailand in Women's Hockey Asian Champions Trophy 2021 in South Korea. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.
The Navy gives me adventure in every venture.
The Navy gives me the chance to discover capabilities I never knew I had.
The Navy gives me a package complete with the country's respect and recognition.
The Navy gives you more. Indian Navy, an ocean of opportunities. www.joinindiannavy.gov.in